Alright, welcome back to another video. It's June 10 today. Got the 7420 here in the Krone Discbine. We're gonna hook it up to cut hay. You can see I have the pain issue of that jack on this Discbine. It's not a very good spot, so the Discbine goes forward or leans forward, and then the jack handle doesn't turn. So we have a portable jack here, a loader tractor, bale spear and chain. If you aren't familiar with a Discbine, basically what it does is it cuts the hay. So these knives here flick the hay up, and it goes through the rollers and then out the back. Alright, we've been cutting away. Got the first two passes done. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with the Discbine, feed gets cut from the knives, or the standing hay gets cut with the knives through the crimper rollers and out the back into the rows. Yeah. So I honestly thought this hay crop here would have been a little thicker. Maybe not at the back of the field, but at the front. This was just planted last year. A stand of hay on our farm lasts 4 years. But yeah, definitely isn't as thick as the stuff we cut earlier this year. But this is just a 12-acre field. There's another 20-acre field we gotta cut. So yeah, keep going. Alright, welcome back to another video. It's May 10 today. We're out here cutting hay with this Krone Discbine, but we're running into an issue where it's cutting the feed, and it's not cutting this half of the row anymore. Not sure if it's because of this whole problem with the Discbine here and it's not bringing it in, but by the looks of it, it just isn't cutting it. You can see here how it kind of pushes it all down. So, very frustrating. But we'll get it sorted. We looked at it and we figured out why. The Discbine at one half fell down in, and it's pushing down the row before it can cut it. You can see that half there. I am getting really frustrated with this Krone this year. Always something. I know it's part of farming, but it's getting a little bit annoying just because I can't seem to get a field of hay cut. You'd think a Discbine, only in its third season, would do a little bit better of a job, but this one has not been for us. So yeah, there's the dog. She didn't get a ride with me, so she crossed the road on her own. But yeah, I'm gonna work on this Discbine and try and get it so it'll actually cut. Alright, we're rolling again. It's cutting like it should. One of the bars underneath the Discbine for the flap that keeps the flap from hitting the knives broke. So that bar was pushing all the hay down and also hitting the knives, and the flap was kind of bulldozing it down. So I'll show you what it looks like out there in a minute. But now we won't have that strip there anymore. Once we finish the first round of the field, I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, pretty frustrating that we only made 5 laps around the field in 3 hours of cutting hay. Or 3 hours of time that we were supposed to cut hay. Alright, there you go. You can see how the rows are cutting much smoother. Already cut a bunch of them just to make sure it wouldn't happen again. But I can walk over here to these first couple rows. You can see the first two are fine, and then here you can see the strip of hay and then the strip it wouldn't mow. I'll show you exactly what happened. But yeah, that's what the rows are supposed to look like. The Discbine likes to sag down on us. But yeah, so this bar in here, specifically this part here, broke. This part pushed into the knives here and got a little dinged up. So Dad and I, Mom helped too, put a bar in here and we welded it up. It's amazing how something small just like that can change just the way the field cuts. Alright, there's our 12-acre field done. We're gonna move just up the road, a little further away from the farm, to our big 20-acre field. I say big, big 20-acre field isn't big for a lot of people, but for us, it's a pretty good hunk. Yeah, this year things are yielding pretty good. Too, so 20 acres will be a big day of chopping for us. It'll probably end up getting split over a couple of days of chopping. Wait for the car. Yeah, it'll probably get split up into a couple days of chopping. We'll probably start chopping tomorrow. Then we will chop a little bit more on Wednesday, and we'll finish up on Thursday. That'll give us 32 acres to do. Yeah, there's a lot of feed out there to get after chopping. It only took 27 acres to fill a 16 by 65 tower silo. So 32 should put us well on our way to filling our 18 by 70. But yeah. Another field of soybeans that we got. And our hay field is just up there. Fortunately for us, nothing is too far away from the farm. Keeps things really simple for chopping and hauling wagons and bales. Saves a lot of money having stuff close by. Less road time and a lot less fuel. Yeah, those are the soybeans. The Discbine swung out. Normally, I like to cut with our smaller two-wheel drive tractor. Just this year, there's so much hay to cut, or this week, there's so much hay to cut. 32 acres would have taken me probably twice as long to do with that tractor. Yeah, I just didn't have time to do it. Love cutting hay with that tractor, but gotta unlock the Discbine. I forgot to do that. Turn the PTO off. Yeah, I love cutting hay with that smaller setup. I'll put a photo of it on the screen if you're unfamiliar with what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Just a 75 horsepower tractor. And same mower. But I just don't have time for it today. Turn the PTO on again to start the mower. Rev up. And we'll get going. So, it's just after 6 o'clock now, so we'll see how long it takes us to get 20 acres done. Pretty big field for what we usually farm. This is our biggest hay field this year. Alright, we're right into this field now. Finished my 8 headlands and I'm doing rows. I split the field in the middle. Cutting hay a little differently this year. It's because this Krone Discbine doesn't like to do counterclockwise turns when we split the field. So, split the field and now I'm just going to keep doing clockwise turns. It does take a little longer, but yeah. But it's cutting really good now. You can see the nice rows that are here. what we're looking for. What was happening in the other field was not ideal. But yeah, there you go. Headlands are a little rough on this field. It's an older stand of hay. I think it's in its 3rd year, but yeah. So instead of looping around counterclockwise, we're now just gonna go clockwise. This Discbine on counterclockwise turns doesn't like to stay on the ground. But yeah, it's cutting a whole lot better now than it did earlier. There you go. It's the whole 20-acre field done. It's just before 8 o'clock. So it took less than 2 hours to cut 20 acres. So, I'm gonna fold up the Discbine and go home. But yeah, it's pretty slick. I don't like cutting with this tractor as much as I like cutting hay with that other one. 2750, just a little smaller, nicer, a little easier on the field, but just didn't have time today to do that or to go that slow. Would have taken 4 hours or maybe a little more to cut this field with the 2750, so it just wouldn't be ideal. So yeah, I'm gonna set these valves here, the lockout valves for the Discbine. I left one of the remotes running because the Discbine likes to sag. It's a little hard to turn. There we go. So yeah, I like cutting with 2750 better. It's a little lighter and it makes the turns a little nicer. Here, I'll show you what I mean. You can see here just a little bit how this tractor will rip up the dirt a little more. That's on the headlands. The rows aren't as bad. When we get over to some rows over here, you can see it does happen a little bit. That's from the Discbine itself, through there. But yeah, this 7420, this big cab tractor, will leave a little bit more of a mark on the top of the ground. But yeah, I just didn't have time today to hook up 2750 and run that. It would have taken about twice as long. So, not including breakdowns, it would have probably been 6 or so hours altogether, if not a little closer to 8. Versus now, we were right around 3. There's Phil, another dairy farmer I know. Pretty slick truck, actually. Okay. Turn off the remote now, and we're gonna go home. There's only 15 acres plus a small 1 acre field left to do for first cut, and then we're all done. Alright, it's June 14 now. We're gonna cut that last hunk of hay ground. We're gonna switch the PTO shaft from 540 to 1000. Got 15 acres plus one small 1 acre field to cut. Then we got fertilizer to spread this afternoon as well. So I'm just going to use the big cab tractor for everything. This hay stand is getting plowed under next year anyway, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, I'm going to switch to PTO. You can see here it has the 1000 splines out for the harvester. pulls out on a snap ring. It's somewhere in here. Right here. Pull the snap ring out and you flip the shaft around. I tell you, the day this thing hooks up with no grease. The chain's here because half the time when the jack doesn't work, I use that. There we go. Missed. Here's another thing that I don't like. This Krone here. The remotes are actually too short to fit in some of the stack towers on this tractor. It won't fit in that one, but it will fit in this one. It's lucky that we've had this one redone, otherwise the remotes wouldn't work. So, yeah. So yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty fed up with this Krone. It's getting traded. That's what we've decided. It keeps breaking on us. It's no longer doing a nice cut job, and it's not hooking up like it should to any of our tractors. That jack gives us grief, and the hydraulics give us grief. Yeah. So, what I would like to hear in the comments is, what do you guys run for a Discbine? Yeah, what do you run? What brand? How many feet is it? The model number, I guess. Then you don't need to tell me how many feet it is. I can figure that out. So yeah, just make, model, what year, and how many acres you've put through it, and if you like it or not. But yeah, we had a Kubota before we had this Krone, and I actually like the Kubota better. This Krone is not it. It's giving me more issues than the Kubota. So yeah, it's only on its really 2.5 season for us, and that's all it's gonna do for us because it keeps breaking and I'm tired of fixing it. The newest piece of equipment gives the most issues. So we're pretty much open to anything. We've been looking for ourselves. I'm gonna fold out the Discbine. We've been looking for ourselves what we'd like. We're looking at maybe Massey, Heston, that's the same thing. John Deere, New Holland, Case. New Holland and Case are pretty well the same. They're a little different. What else is on the list? McHale. There's a whole pile of brands we're looking at. We're pretty much open to anything. Krone is on the list. But yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys run and how you like it. But we got a 15-acre field here plus 1 small acre. We're just gonna hammer it out real quick and get it all cut. Should only take us maybe an hour or 2 hours. Alright, we're almost done this field here. But this Discbine just keeps giving me grief. I think... Great, that whole flap, bottom section of flap just went through the Discbine. Yep, it's laying over there. This whole Discbine is just falling apart. It really is too bad that this Discbine is just falling apart on us. Krone is a very, I'll call it, expensive choice for when it comes to haying equipment. When you pay good money for something, you really hope it does good for you, and when it doesn't, it's disappointing. A North American Krone rep came out himself to look at this, and he said it's not their problem. Because the incidents that we've had, it's out of warranty. So he said he's not gonna fix it, so it'd be out of our own pocket. So at this rate, I don't think, in my farming career I'll ever buy another piece of Krone equipment. So yeah, it's just frustrating. If it fell apart like this and Krone came and made it all better, yeah, I'd buy another piece of equipment. But when customer service on a national level sucks, I'm not gonna go ahead and buy another piece of Krone equipment. It also sucks because, yeah, we're a small farm. I'm sure if we bought 50, 60, maybe even $100,000 of hay equipment every year, they'd be right over here trying to help us. I'm gonna move over to the 1 acre field. They'd be right over here trying to help us get it sorted out. But yeah, we don't farm a lot of acres. So Krone isn't gonna help us. Krone isn't gonna fix it. It's all up to us. Yeah, it sucks. But this Discbine has just got me so let down. I'm not very happy in it at all. So it's not one thing, it's the next, this mower, and it is just so frustrating. On the plus side, look at how tall this hay crop over here is. Just a small little 1 acre field, but the hay is nice and tall. Alright, that's all the hay cut. All this will be going for dry hay, so no baleage. As long as we can get it dry, which we should be able to. The weather forecast looks good. Yeah, that's all the hay cut for first cut, which is great. So, good stuff. So we're gonna go back to the farm. I'm gonna unhook this and eat lunch, and then I'm gonna grab a load of fertilizer. This field isn't getting fertilizer because it's in its last year. It'll be plowed up in the fall. But there we go. Alright, we unhooked the Discbine. You can see it sitting there. I'm gonna run down to County Ag and grab a load of fertilizer. Yeah, you can see here, that's one of the fields we gotta spread it on. It's getting pretty tall. Yeah, it was May 31 when we cut that, or sometime around the end of May, maybe not the 31st. May 30, I don't know. Whenever, I'd have to think. It was the end of May when we cut that. So, we're gonna run down to County Ag. And here we are again. Really does not take that long to get here with the tractor versus the truck, and pulling it back is just about the same speed, but we're able to pull more ton back in one trip. Oftentimes we'd be doing two, but now we only have to do one. Alright, it's the next day now. I got the drone with me, so I'll get that up for you guys so you can see it in action. But yeah, there's the spreader. So, good stuff. Anyway, I'll get the drone up. Alright, so the first field done at 12 acres. We're on to the big 20-acre field now. We have 50 acres to spread for the day. So, thought I'd show you how it works. So the spreader's wheel driven. So as you drive, this tire will go down on the wheel through a hydraulic cylinder. So you can engage it and disengage it. So I can spread it 10 miles per hour or 5 miles per hour, and I'll get the same 250 pounds down per acre. So that'll drive the chain driven floor of the spreader. See here, this is how you set your rate, and according to that chart and how it's geared. Then the spinner here is PTO driven. So I always rev that up to 540 to get our 50 feet, sorry, of spread width. Yeah, you can see right here, 50-foot spread. So we're gonna get started on this next field. So I tried to get it in the drone video. I don't know if it happened, but to show that wheel going up and down. But yeah, got to tow out a little more. But you can see that's a soybean field right there. It was just sprayed the other day. We don't do our own spraying, it's custom done. Here, we'll rev the tractor up, 540. There you go. Let's go and see reins. So, we're gonna engage the spreader. See down there, that center, called a little bit of a conveyor start to turn. It means the fertilizer's going out. And the faster I drive, the faster it turns. It's a little hard to see and a little bumpy. But every time I grab another gear, it turns a little bit faster. Then I just judge what 25 feet looks like. I generally like to try and stay a little further away, 25 feet that direction, because I'd rather, if I have overlap it into the field. So, yeah. There you go, it's pretty simple. Alright, we're in our last 2 fields, but we do farm them as just one big field. This is the hay we cut first. You can see down there, that's 5 acres, and up here, I actually don't know how many acres are up here. Mom would know. But, yeah. This is our first 2 hay fields we cut. That's why the regrowth is so tall. It's been one of these years with all the rain we've been getting, so you just kind of live with it and make it work. But it's not ideal to be spreading fertilizer when it's this tall, but still got to do it. Get it done. It'll still benefit from it. It's just we do run over some regrowth, not a whole lot, but a little bit. This nicer to get on it before it grows, but yeah, it was either always raining every day that we could have spread fertilizer, or we were cutting hay when it was sunny, and also then we would have had to make 2 trips back and forth for it, versus now we only have to do 1. There are a couple fields we aren't spreading fertilizer on. That hay field over there is one of them. The 1 acre field over there is another. And then there's another hunk of the hay field past the dairy barns there that I pointed out earlier in the video with the regrowth. There's cut with this one. That one won't be doing or getting fertilizer either. So yeah, that field there, and then that hay field over there after this year will be getting plowed up. So that's why we don't do it. Once again, if you're curious, this is what we're spreading. Yeah, that's what we're spreading this time around. We do it to try and get a little better yield out of our hay ground. We do find it helps a lot. Yeah, before previous years, my grandfather still looked after all the hay ground and corn. We'd run out of feed quite a bit, pretty well yearly, and then we'd have to run and buy some or make something else work. But now that we're spreading fertilizer like this, we don't have to buy as much feed. So you can either spend the $5,000 or more buying hay, or you can spend the $5,000 on fertilizer and not have to run back and forth to buy loads of hay. But yeah, there you go. Alright, so there's always just a little bit extra when you're spreading fertilizer. We find leave too big of a gap of rows in the odd spot, so it's a little bumpier this way. But what I like to do when I have extra is I'll come back to this field, or field that we want to put more on. In this case, it's one nice and close to the farm. Don't have to haul too far with the wagons. And what I'll do is I'll work the field back and forth the other way. So then, let's say I went up and down this way, and I left a gap of maybe 5 feet, maybe 10 feet in between two passes. When I work back and forth this way, now that doesn't matter anymore, because I'll actually be covering it in each time. So if I left a 10-foot gap here and here, when I run along now, I'll fill it in. Yeah, the spreader will be just about empty probably before I'm even done another 2 or 3 passes, but just that way anything over there will be covered. If I made any air, so yeah, that's just how I do it. That way I don't miss anything if I have extra, and it's all getting put to good use. I'm gonna run the spreader back down County Ag, but I'm first gonna give it a little bit of a rinse off, get some of this mud off. I did end up putting a little bit of mud on it, and I drove through a wet spot down a path to one of our fields. I didn't put all the mud on it, but I put a little bit, so figured I'd just wash it off. I wouldn't want to get a dirty spreader or return a dirty spreader, so might as well clean it up for them. Alright, we're gonna run back to this spreader. Got 35 minutes till County Ag closes. That'll be plenty of time to get there, so we're all good. I wouldn't be so worried, and I'd bring it back on Monday or Tuesday, but we've booked Monday and Tuesday pretty full with our 16 acres of dry hay I cut, along with we're hoof trimming those days. So busy, so I just want to get it done. And there you go. Took 10 minutes to get down here. A little longer, I think closer to 12, but this thing just flies. Wow. 26.5 miles per hour is pretty slow for some of the fast tractors out there, but for 2004, pretty impressive. There you go. There's no spot to park it in the row of spreaders, so Look at those row gators over there. They're huge. Yeah, last time we were here, they're very busy and there's no spreaders available, but now that most people are done planting, still some soybeans going in around us, but now that most people, like I said, are done planting, or most of the acres, I should say, are done being planted, then most of them are here. But yeah, there's a lot of equipment back here. It's incredible. Alright, we're gonna run home. We got a silo to level. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Once again, another long video. Last one would have been long too, I'm sure. So, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. God bless.